everyone, and welcome to the Bold and Beautiful podcast. Happy Memorial Day. I'm your host, Amanda, and I've titled this week's episode, Steffy Finally Returns. I would like to say thank you to MK for being on the podcast last week. I hope you guys enjoyed it. We had a blast. I also want to say to anyone out there who is a diehard Steam fan, please get in touch with me. If you are a complete diehard Steffy and Liam together fan, please get in touch with me. I want you to come on the podcast because I need to hear from someone why you would want them together. I need someone to talk me off the ledge. I'm not going to lie. This week was very hard for me to watch. I love Steffy, so I don't get why anyone would want her with Liam. He's in love with someone else, and he's done a lot of things to Steffy over the years, and he always makes her feel like she's never enough. So if you're a Steam fan, get in touch with me. Come on the show. Help me understand. Let's move on to the news before I get into this whole rant. Okay, we'll save the rant for the end. The only news I have for this week, Steffy is back. I'm so excited and I'm so happy that Jacqueline McInnes Wood, her maternity leave is over, and I'm very happy to have her back. There's something else I wanted to tell you guys. I normally do not do spoilers, but I read this in multiple places. I read that Bradley Bell said, and this was a quote, said that the truth about Beth will come out this summer, but there will be a tragedy and a death, and that's how the secret will come out. So it's not through a crack in the door. But I'm super excited because in my mind, summer is June, July, August. So for sure in the next few months, the next 2 or 3 months, the truth will come out. The problem is, will it be too late? That's all the news I have for this week. Enough with the chit chat. Let's get to the recap. So that brings us into Monday, May the 20th. The show opens at Eric's house with Zoe, Flo, and Hope. Hope wants to know, and she is upset still, she wants to know why they're talking about Beth. And basically Zoe is like, oh, we were just talking about how strong you are and how you're an inspiration, blah, 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 etc., etc. SOS. Okay, that's my new thing because it's the same old, different day. Hope is skeptical, so she asks Flo if that's the truth. Of course, Flo chickens out and lets Zoe explain and agrees with Zoe. Poor Hope. She apologizes for her reaction. She's just really raw still when people talk about Beth. And then she starts crying. Hope is so upset that she has to leave. And I am like, are you kidding me? I really hate Zoe. Okay. Are you kidding me? So how can they stand there and see Hope crying and in so much pain and not say anything? My hatred for Zoe is beyond now. It's just beyond. It would not make me sad if she's the one who dies. So, if Shauna and Zoe were not around, I truly think Flo would tell Hope. So it's making me dislike Zoe and Shauna. Now we head over to Wyatt's house with Liam and Wyatt. And they are discussing Thomas's behavior. How they're both really pissed off that he's making a play for Hope. And Wyatt basically says he really wanted to go over to Brooke's and kick Thomas's ass when he found out. Liam agrees that he would love to do the same. And I'm like, of course they would, because they're Spencers. So Liam hopes that Thomas will do the right thing. But he trusts him about as far as he can throw him. Then Liam asked if Wyatt has talked to Sally since she left. And I have been wondering this myself. I have been wondering if he has at least checked on Sally. But we learn that he has not. Wyatt has not spoken to her at all. He can't trust her, is what he says. And he's decided to reevaluate his relationship. And of course, Liam is so sweet, right? And he feels bad for Sally, like we all do. But Wyatt quickly reminds him that Sally made the choice to pick Thomas over him. Okay. I mean, that's hard to argue with. I will be honest. I feel sorry for Sally. I love Sally. But if my husband sided with his ex over me, and he kept a secret for her that could potentially hurt my family, no. Straight up, no. Would not put up with that either. But at the same time, Wyatt did the same thing. He had all those kisses and all those secret little rendezvous with Flo and neglected to tell Sally. But see, she doesn't know that yet. I'm wondering if she is ever going to know that. Then Wyatt tells Liam about his kiss with Flo and how he feels like he never really got over her. Plus, he can trust her. And I'm like, really? Really? You can? So then the conversation switches and they change subjects, and Wyatt wants to know if Liam thinks he got through to Thomas, and Liam admits that he doesn't think he did. Thomas wants Hope all to himself, and he's not hiding it. Now we head over to Brooke's house with Thomas, and I'm sorry guys, but this show literally just started, and I'm already losing my mind. I'm already cursing the TV. Okay? So Thomas is practicing how to forge Caroline's handwriting so that he can yet again trick Hope. This is such BS. So Thomas is so pleased with himself because he managed to forge a letter that looked like her handwriting. And then he put it in an envelope. My husband says it's envelope. He put it in an envelope and into a special box. And I'm like, why? Just why? Now we head back over to Eric's house, and Zoe tells Flo she needs to pull it together. And she reminds her about their pact. And I'm like, I can't, guys. Like, I really just can't. This pact crap, what are we, 13? Like, I just can't with this. Shauna arrives. And she wants to know what Zoe is doing there. And Zoe tells her about their close call with Hope. And they start arguing. And naturally, Zoe blames everything on Flo. Finally, Flo stands up to Zoe and tells her, look, you are a big part of the problem. Half of this is your fault because you won't stop badgering me. If you weren't here, none of this would have happened. Then Shauna jumps in and says, yeah, that's right. Why don't you leave and go back to England and stay with your dad, the baby snatcher? Because we are not leaving. Flo has a future here with her new family and the love of her life. And Zoe's just speechless. She doesn't say anything. Now we head back to Brooke's house and Hope has arrived. So we're with Hope and Thomas. Thomas is acting all pitiful and upset. And he's having such a hard time. Then he lies and tells Hope that he received a box today with stuff that was Caroline's. And he doesn't want to be alone when he opens the box. Because Hope is a very sweet person. She really reminds me of my sister. Hope offers to be with him when he opens this very important box. Of course he wants her there, because that's where he put the letter. Okay, so he opens the box, and there's all kinds of stuff in it, and of course his forged letter is in there. And he makes this big production of reading it. Basically, I'm not going to sit here and tell you the whole letter, because you can guess. But basically, it says, if something happens to me, I know there's a woman out there who needs a child and will love Douglas and be his mommy, etc., etc. By the way, Thomas is fake crying as he reads the letter. Hope is stunned because it's almost like Caroline knew. Like this letter was meant for her. Well, Thomas achieved his goal. And I'm like, wake up, Hope. Wake up, please, before he destroys your life. I'm sorry. They must think Hope is a complete idiot. First of all, Caroline died suddenly of a blood clot. She wasn't sick. She didn't know she was dying. So Hope is supposed to believe that she wrote a letter and made a death box. And she didn't even know she was dying. I know some people do that. But she's still young. Like most people do that when they get older. I don't know. So, how and why are they choosing to make Hope so dumb? And why do they keep torturing her? It's just cruel. And that's how Monday ends. So that brings us into Tuesday. The show opens at Wyatt's house with Liam and Wyatt. And they're continuing their conversation from yesterday. They're still talking about how ridiculous and brazen Thomas is being. Liam wants him to just leave Hope the hell alone. And they both can't believe how he's acting, how Thomas is acting. And Wyatt says, what kind of guy tries to ruin someone's marriage? And then Liam is like, better yet, what kind of guy lets another man ruin his marriage? And I'm like, oh my God, I feel so sad for him. Wyatt feels really bad for Liam. And who doesn't? Everyone does. Or at least, I think everyone does. Liam is so pissed. He's really pissed and he's really worked up. And then Wyatt brings up that Thomas might be doing this for Steffy. And this next question made me very angry because I am so tired of people talking about this. And I'm so tired of people asking Liam this. Is there a part of you that feels like you should be with Steffy and the girls full time? What the F? Is everyone against Hope and Liam? I'm sorry, MK. I absolutely love Steffy. But I don't get why her fans would want her with Liam. I don't get it. So, it's obvious that this is annoying Liam a little bit. And so Wyatt explains that he knows Liam loves Hope. He just wants to see how Liam feels. He's just being a good brother. But then he goes from being a good brother to campaigning. He starts campaigning for Liam to get back with Steffy. And I'm like, seriously? Steffy does not want Liam back. After the whole dressing room thing, doesn't she get a vote? So Liam gets a little annoyed, right? He's getting more annoyed. And he asks Wyatt if he really thinks Thomas is right. Does he really think that? Then, Wyatt's like, well, I don't, and Liam's like, look, I appreciate your concern. In other words, Liam's like, I appreciate your concern. That's enough. But does he stop? No. Wyatt continues his campaign for Steffy. And I refuse to write any more of it down. You can all guess what it was. I know you miss the girls. I know you love the girls. I know you want to put the girls first. I know that you miss Steffy, etc., etc. I refuse to write any more down. Now we head over to Eric's house with Quinn, Shauna, Eric, and Flo. They are having drinks, and Quinn is so happy. I have never seen her like this. She's like giddy. She's pretty much giddy. And she says, see why I love this man? He always, does what I want, and he always is there for me and supports me. And Shauna answers, oh yes, because he's sweet and generous and very handsome. And I was like, ding, ding, ding. I was like, that's interesting. She thinks he's very handsome. Interesting. So Shauna and Flo both thank Eric for letting them stay at the big house. And they are so happy to be there, etc., etc. So Shauna and Quinn are talking about how they were besties and they need to catch up. And so then Quinn is going on and on and on about how she wants to pay them back for their generosity and they've always been so honest with her. And then Quinn takes them upstairs to show them their rooms. And Flo's room is so pretty and she just loves her room. And Quinn comments that they're like family. And if everything goes well with Flo and Wyatt, they'll be family for real. So Quinn then goes on and on about how Flo and Wyatt are perfect together and how she's perfect because she's honest and principled. So the whole time, Flo is feeling more and more and more and more guilty. You can tell. Now we head over to Brooke's house with Thomas and Hope. And Thomas is just so pleased with himself because his plan is working. And Hope is shocked about Caroline's letter. So Thomas is going to take full advantage and he asked her to read it again. And I'm like, really? Do the writers just really hate Hope? Like, do they just love torturing her? Of course. Let's torture Hope some more. And Hope feels like Caroline wrote this letter just for her. It's like Caroline knew the future. Thomas, of course, agrees that it's so amazing. In my mind, I am thinking, come on, Hope. This is awfully convenient, don't you think? He just told you he wanted you and he wanted to steal you from Liam. And now conveniently there's this mysterious letter. I can't. I can't. So next, Douglas has a bad dream and he wakes up wanting his mom. He wakes up crying and wanting his mom. So Hope and Thomas run into his room together. And Hope is so sweet. She calms him down. And she helps him forget about his nightmare. And by the way, he is such an adorable kid. And the whole time, Thomas is sitting behind Hope, just staring at her with his creepy half smile, weirdo, crazy look that he always has. And then she lays down with Douglas. And she tells him she will always be there for him, no matter what. And of course, he falls asleep, and that's how Tuesday ends. So that brings us into Wednesday. The show opens at Brooke's house with Douglas, Hope, and Thomas. And I don't know if you guys noticed this, but in the background, there was music, and it sounded just like horror music. You know, like music that would be in a crazy horror movie. And I just thought that was so funny. So we're at Brooke's house and Douglas is finally asleep. So Hope slowly gets up and Thomas is so appreciative. Of course he is. He loves seeing Hope with Douglas. Poor Hope. Thomas is using her grief against her. And I hate this. She admits that being with Douglas makes her wonder what it would be like with Beth. And this is cruel. Now we head over to Eric's house in Flo's room with Shauna and Flo. Shauna is so excited to be living the good life. So she reminds Flo how lucky she is and how she basically needs to keep her mouth shut. Especially because she has a chance with Wyatt. Flo feels really guilty, as usual. And Shauna goes on and on about how it's their first night and they should be happy because they deserve this. Oh yeah, they deserve to benefit from all of Eric's hard work. So poor Flo, she reminds her mom that Hope and Liam deserve the truth. Shauna is totally against Flo saying anything, and she feels like Flo should not feel so responsible for Hope and Liam's marriage. She's basically like, it's not your responsibility. And I'm like, really? Then Flo tells her all about Thomas and his plan to steal Hope from Liam. And for the 100th time, Flo feels guilty. She wants to tell Hope the truth. And once again, for the millionth time, Someone, this time Shauna, talks her out of it. Talks her out of doing it. SOS. Same old, you know what, different day. I'm sorry guys, but this is getting old. Now we head over to Forrester Creations with Sally and Wyatt. And I've been waiting for this conversation. So surprisingly, Wyatt has stopped by to talk to Sally. Sally completely understands that she messed up. And she should have been honest. And she should have told him the truth. And then Wyatt reminds her that he is not the one who asked her to move out. I took that as him saying, look, we could have worked it out, but you chose to leave. I'm putting words in his mouth, but that's how I read that. Like, that's how it struck me. Basically, Sally wants to know if she totally blew it or if she can have another chance. And Wyatt tells her that they always promise to be honest with each other, and that really bothers him. And I'm like, oh, I feel so bad for Sally. She admits that she knows she made a huge mistake, and she wants to know what's up with Flo. So Wyatt tells her that's why he's here. He came to tell her that he has decided to see Flo. And poor Sally is devastated. She's devastated. She starts crying, and she doesn't react the way I expected, though. She is very sweet, actually, and she tells him that she totally understands. He needs to see if there's something there with Flo, but it's obvious that it's killing her to say that. And she does tell him that her feelings have not changed at all, and then she grabs him and kisses him. Now we head back to Brooke's house with Thomas and Douglas. Douglas is sleeping, and Thomas is thinking about how happy he is that his plan is working. And again, he has that weirdo, creepy looking smile on his face. And then Douglas wakes up. And basically Douglas asks him if Hope really meant what she said. Will she really be there for him forever? And Thomas says, well, do you love Hope? Is that what you want? And of course he says yes. And then Thomas says, then I promise I will do whatever it takes to make sure Hope is always there for you. Really? Really? He literally makes me sick. Now we head over to the cabin with Hope and Liam. And I actually had to take a break because I was so mad. I was about to throw my notebook and my pen, just throw them right across the room. And my husband was like, you need to calm down. So at the cabin, Hope tells Liam that she believes there are greater forces at work here. Now keep in mind, okay, as we go through this, she never told him about the letter yet. She never told him about the letter. So Liam has no idea what's going on. So she tells him that there's greater forces at work here and that Thomas is right. Douglas needs her. So Liam wants to know what that means and what happened. So Hope tells Liam about Douglas's nightmare and how she comforted him and helped him and how it made her feel. Then she starts her crap again about how the children should come first. We need to do what's right for the children, etc. And poor Liam, he's so frustrated at this point. He tells her that it doesn't have to be an either or situation. Their vows did not say forever until someone needs them more. So he desperately tries to get through to Hope. How many times do we have to watch this? Because I can't take it anymore. I just can't. She once again tells Liam to go back to Steffy. And this is so stupid. I just can't. Sorry guys, but I am not going to write down all of this crap. I'm not going to sit here and write down the same exact thing as we already went over and already went through like 2 or 3 weeks ago, a couple months ago. She took off her ring, and this is just an ongoing thing. So you all know what I'm talking about. She goes through all her crap. She's guilty, blah, blah, blah. And I really feel sorry for Liam, because she constantly keeps hurting him. So he's so upset, and he's like, I cannot let you do this. And Hope says, I want to end the marriage. I want to end it. I am done. In my mind, I'm like, I'm sorry. You can help Douglas and be a mom to him and still be married to Liam. This is 2019. Like, I don't understand. I feel like the soap opera is back in like the 70s or the 50s. Like, what is happening? So, of course, I'm in tears. She begs him not to fight her on this. But Liam refuses to let it end this way. He wants one more day, one more night to be together. And I'm thinking he's thinking he can convince her to change her mind. So then Hope starts bawling, crying, and she tells him she does not want it to be this way because she loves him and she has always loved him, but she just can't take it anymore. And that's how Wednesday ends. So that brings us into Thursday. The show opens at Steffy's, but we're going to circle back. We are going to start at Brooke's house with Brooke and Hope. Hope tells Brooke her decision to end her marriage. And Brooke tells her that this is ridiculous. Liam doesn't want this, and it's not fair to him. Then Hope gives her the same reasons that she's been saying this whole time, to put the kids first, blah, 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 blah. I'm not writing all that down again. So Brooke reminds her that she made vows to Liam. And marriage is not perfect. It's unconditional. Basically, Hope says, well, Mom, that's, kind of rich coming from you, considering you've had like 100 weddings. Really, Brooke is like, yeah, you're right. You're right. And then Brooke says, but in my opinion, you're basically being selfish. Because Liam's dream is to be with you. And you're taking that away from him. And it isn't fair. And Brooke tries desperately to talk some sense into Hope. But she's just not hearing it. Now we head over to Forrester Creations with Thomas and Ridge. Ridge informs Thomas that he sees what he's doing. He sees that Thomas wants Hope. It's pretty obvious. Ridge is concerned because Thomas is not thinking about Hope and Liam's feelings. So basically, I took what he was saying, and please get in touch with me if you disagree, but I took what he was saying to mean you can try and change someone's situation, but you can't make someone love you. So Thomas says, look, Hope feels like a thief. She wants Liam to go back to Steffy. She feels bad that he's not with his girls. And Ridge laughs and says, what, are you a shrink now? Did you learn that from your mother? Which really, really pisses off Thomas. But Ridge continues and he says, look, I'm not trying to be mean. But just because Hope and Liam don't have a child, it doesn't mean their marriage is over. And furthermore, if Hope being childless is a real issue, then she needs to work through that. And being a mother to someone else's child is not the answer. I'm going to be honest with you guys. I was like, yes, you tell him, Ridge. Someone needs to tell him. On this day, I was happy because Ridge was telling him what he needed to hear. Now we head over to Steffy's house with Steffy, Liam, and the girls. Liam is so happy to see his girls. They chit-chat and they're talking and discussing the girls and blah, blah, blah. And then Liam tells Steffy about Hope's decision to end their marriage. Steffy is shocked. She thought leaving would help. Then he tells her about Thomas and his agenda. And I feel so bad for Liam because he is so depressed. He says that when the person you love keeps telling you over and over they don't want to be with you, it starts to sink in. Steffy tells Liam he should not give up on his marriage, but that he's welcome to spend as much time with the girls as he wants, whenever he wants. The door's always open to him. And that's how Thursday ends. So that brings us into Friday, the 24th. The show opens at Steffi's house with Steffy and Liam. Steffy feels really, really bad for Liam, and she offers to talk to Hope for him. Liam is not really sure that it will help at this point. Steffy lets Liam know that she has a few choice words for her brother Thomas. Then Liam informs her that he has a few things he wants to say to Thomas himself. And I'm like, yes, you go, Liam. Go get him. Go punch him. Go do something. Now we head over to Brooke's house with Hope and Brooke. Brooke is very upset. She is in tears. She's trying to talk to Hope rationally, but Hope is not thinking rational, right? She's not. My husband explained to me that because I got so angry, he explained to me you have to remember that Hope is in this fog of grief and she's just not thinking clearly. That's why she's not realizing Thomas is playing her. And I'm like, yeah, okay. I mean, you're right, but it still doesn't change the fact that it makes me angry. Poor Brooke is trying desperately to help. And she makes a really good point. She tells Hope that if Hope gets with Thomas, being in a loveless relationship would not be good for Douglas at all. It would be a horrible example to show him. But Hope, of course, is not listening to one word Brooke is saying. It's going in one ear and out the other. And then Hope grabs her stuff, her purse and her keys, and she leaves because she has to talk to Steffy about all of this. Now we head over to Forrester Creations with Ridge and Thomas. And this is where I went from loving Ridge to wanting to punch him in the face. So Ridge tells Thomas he sees where he's coming from. He even understands Thomas wants to help Hope. I'm sorry, that's BS. Thomas does not want to help Hope. Thomas is being selfish. He wants Hope for himself and Douglas. Okay, he is not trying to help her. I'm sorry. Ridge says all he wants is for Hope to be happy, and she's not happy. So maybe Thomas is right. Maybe he can help Hope. Also, Thomas mentions, wouldn't you want Steffy to be with Liam and have someone to help her with the girls? So basically Thomas is trying to tell Ridge, look, this is best for everyone because then Liam will go be with Steffy. Okay, I'm sorry. Does anyone even care what Steffy and Liam think? Like, does anyone even care at all? Like, the last time I checked, Steffy didn't even want Liam. Like, she was done with his crap. But no one seems to care what Steffy wants or thinks, which really pisses me off. So then Ridge gives Thomas a heads up. A warning. I'm just going to let you know now, Thomas, that Brooke will not see it this way. She will not agree. She definitely will not be down with this plan. So over at Brooke's house, we go back to Brooke's, and Brooke called Ridge because she was really upset, so he ran home to check on her. He arrives home and Brooke tells him all about Hope and Liam and everything that happened. And she's extremely upset. And she tells him that none of this would be happening if it wasn't for Thomas. She explains that Hope has helped Thomas, but he has only hurt her. He put all these ideas in her head, and if he really cared about her the way he claims to, he would be helping her and Liam instead of hurting them. And that is so true. So true. I'm like, amen, Brooke. So Brooke asked Ridge to talk to Thomas to get him to back off. Then, very dumbly, I don't know what Ridge was thinking, Ridge tells Brooke that maybe Thomas is right. Maybe this is all for the best because Hope is miserable. She's not happy. Maybe getting out of this whole thing is the right thing for her. And you should see the look that Brooke gives him. She just looks at him with this look like, are you effing kidding me? It totally cracked me up, and I thought in my mind, wow, I thought Ridge was smarter than this. I hope that this doesn't tear them apart. Now we go over to Forrester Creations, and we're in the executive office with Thomas and Liam. So Liam has decided to confront Thomas, and Thomas is such a dick. He tells Liam to go ahead with his tantrum. And I'm like, excuse me? Oh, you don't know how bad I wanted Liam to just punch Thomas right in the face. Right in the nose. So then Liam asked, you seriously think the best thing for Hope is you? Like, you seriously think that? Please. Thomas says, well, that's for Hope to decide, not you. And Liam is really aggravated at this point. Like, he's really mad. And he says, well, congratulations, because you used Hope's grief over Beth to finally push her over the edge. You win. Hope has given up. She's thrown in the towel on me. I hope you're happy, Thomas. And of course, at first Thomas is like, well, I'm not happy that she's miserable. And then he says, you know what? I am happy. I'm happy that she saw the light. Then he has the nerve to give Liam a speech about how Liam should see the light because his future is with Steffy and his girls. Rude. I'm so glad Thomas thinks he's God and can just decide what is best for everyone. Now we head over to Steffy's house with Steffy and Hope. Hope has stopped by to talk to Steffy, and Steffy informs Hope that she already knows what's going on. Liam told her. Then she tells Hope that she thinks Hope is being crazy. She doesn't have to end her marriage to do right by the kids. It's absurd. And Hope should know that just because she's ending her marriage does not mean that her, Steffy, and Liam are getting back together. In other words, she said, you know, just because you're doing this, don't just think that I'm going to get back with Liam because you did this. And Hope then says, well, that's up to you. I'm not going to sit here and say you have to do that. But for me, it has to be this way. And then Phoebe wakes up, and of course, Steffy lets Hope hold her. And I, in this moment, loved Steffy because she straight up told Hope, you're being crazy. Like, you are wrong. This is a mistake. Then Steffy goes on to tell Hope that now she totally gets it. The connection between Hope and Phoebe makes complete sense now because they are related. They're related. And Steffy is amazed that Phoebe is a Logan. And then Hope tells Steffy, even though she's a Logan, Steffy will always be her mother. And this is where she belongs. And that's how Friday ends. We did not really have a cliffhanger this week. So that brings us to the end of the week. Let's analyze this and break it down. I only have a few things that I want to say. First, like I said in the beginning of the episode, I do not understand why anyone wants Steffy with Liam. So let me just say this before I get hate mail and people get mad at me. I absolutely love Steffy. I love her because she's fierce and independent and she's beautiful and all of these things. Okay? I in no way hate Steffy. I'm actually really glad she's back. But I do not want her with Liam. I just don't. I think that it would be a total travesty if she completely does a 180 and changes her whole attitude and everything and reverts back to the old Steffy who just takes Liam back and forgives him for everything and he never does any wrong. Why would you want Steffy with someone who's in love with someone else? I don't like how he makes her feel. He always makes her feel less than or not enough. And I just don't like it. So, in my opinion, Liam is better with Hope. And that's just my opinion, okay? I don't want people mad. We can agree to disagree. But if you are a Steam fan, please get in touch. Let me know. I want you to come on the podcast because I need someone to help me understand this. Next, I want to talk about Ridge really quickly. At first, in the beginning of the week, he was like my hero because he was straight up telling Thomas, what are you doing? Like, you're being weird. It's a lot, right? Like, think about the whole picture. You can't just make people fall in love with you, right? But then the end of the week comes and the next thing you know, he's done a 180 and now he's telling Thomas, you know what? You're probably right. This is a good idea. Yeah. Okay. Then he's completely dumb for telling Brooke that he thinks it's a good idea. Dumb. Very, very dumb move. Everyone knows that Brooke takes Hope and Liam's relationship very personally and very serious. Mistake, Ridge. Mistake. Now let's talk about Wyatt and Sally for a second. Wyatt is shocking me, to be honest. Like, I get it if you run into someone and you kind of think you might have feelings for them still or whatever, but you told Sally you were in love with her. You wanted to be with her. And I just don't get how you can say you're in love with someone and then literally they leave and that same like night or next day, like right after they leave, you're already with someone else and kissing them. Then how much did you really love that person? Like, you need to step back and think about that. And I feel awful for Sally. But at the same time, I'm mad at her. Because the way she handled the whole situation was ridiculous. She could have been the hero. Instead, she chose to be the villain. She could have prevented all of this by telling Wyatt and Liam the truth. See, I'm still mad. Because Sally she still has yet to tell Hope the full truth. Or Wyatt. About everything. If they knew the lengths Thomas was going to, and someone went to Hope and was like, look, this drawing, he drew it. This video was manufactured. It would make a huge difference. So I'm still mad at Sally because for some reason she continues to keep Thomas's secret. So then that says a lot too. Maybe there's some unresolved feelings going on there. I don't know. I just want to say one more thing about Steffy. I'm so happy she's back. And I really hope that she can talk some sense into everyone. Especially Thomas. Because honestly, the old Steffy from way back when she was young, she would use this opportunity and pounce. She would pounce and be on Liam. She would be doing the same thing Thomas is doing. But the new Steffy is not like that. And I love how she is now because she wants to do the right thing. And she wants Liam and Hope to be happy. And I admire that about her. Okay, the only thing that I want to say about Thomas is that he's disgusting. I was not shocked that he forged the letter. I am not even surprised. But I am disgusted. And I cannot wait for anyone, to figure out the truth. Because I don't want Hope to be hurt anymore. Like, this is getting out of hand. It's just cruel. Every week, Hope is being hurt. She's in tears. And it's just like, really? You cannot really believe that Thomas loves her. Because if he did, he would not be able to do this to her. And watch her go through this. One more thing. I want to talk about Shauna, Zoe, and Flo. Everyone knows, you all know, I think the pact is stupid. I am over it now. Like, I'm completely over it. I'm tired of it. and I'm over it. First of all, I really liked Flo and I really felt sorry for her. And I have been on the fence because I feel like she got taken advantage of. But now it's to the point where you are letting people just run all over you. Like, stand up for yourself. Be like Steffy. Like, be a fierce woman. Like, come on. If you want to tell Hope the truth, why are you letting Zoe and Shauna stop you? Yeah. I'm having a hard time. Honestly, I'm having a hard time liking Shauna, which really makes me upset because I love Denise Richards. But I don't agree with Shauna. She wants Flo to just continue to be miserable just so that they can live the good life. You know what? If you're the type of person that's the most important thing to you, I'm not going to knock it. That's fine. Perfectly fine. Okay? I'm just personally not the type of person that values money to such a level that I would force my child or my husband or anyone that I love to do something that was literally killing them. And that's what I'm having a hard time with. I'm also wondering if Eric and Shauna are going to have a thing. And then Shauna and Quinn will be enemies. They'll go from besties to enemies. I don't know. But I did find it interesting that Shauna thought Eric was super handsome. I did find that interesting. Okay, guys. That is all I have for this week. So that brings us to the end of the episode. Please get in touch with me at theboldandbeautifulpodcast.com. I'm also on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. I put the links in the show notes, so it'll be easy for you guys to get in touch with me. I wish all of you out there a very happy Memorial Day. I hope you had a great weekend. I will be back in your ears next week. Until then, bye guys.